Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'm going to talk about lessons I've learned as a result of running a small business during a pandemic. It's no secret that this pandemic, of course, was something that no one expected. It actually shocked the whole world, including these super nations like the United States, which was one. I think it was even more. It was it was more affected by the pandemic than us, which was, thank God, considering Africa, if this thing had hit us as hard as it hit them, I don't think we could have managed it. It could have been worse. And today I wanted to talk about this because it's something that no one expected, especially for small businesses. We have heard of situations where very big businesses like Victoria's Secret, big, super big businesses have had to close shop because of the pandemic. And this has come as a, so you can imagine a small business that's just starting out. Especially for me, I'm specifically drawing my experience from a small law firm. So in this video, I'm hoping to share the lessons I've learned in the hope that it will help someone maybe who is planning to start a business. These are lessons that they say it's bad situations that this happen for us to learn. So I'm going to share the lessons that I've learned in the hope that it will help people who are planning to start a small business or even who have already started a small business. Okay. Let me first introduce myself. I am Ruth Tanui, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and also the founder and managing partner of Ruth Tanui and Company Advocates. If you haven't followed us yet in our social media pages, please do. I'm going to share them here on the screen. Our Instagram page is Lawyers Helping Each Other 2020. It's where I'm just going to share the things I talk about from I'm just like a young lawyer, just also figuring out this profession as I go, and I'm just sharing lessons that I'm learning in the hope of helping someone. That's basically what I'm doing, because I'm not like a senior advocate who has a lot of experience, but I'm just sharing my journey in the hope that someone out there will learn from it. So please don't forget, just follow us on our Instagram page. Also, you can also follow us on our Facebook page. It's Miss Tanui. It's just Miss Tanui on Facebook, which it's the same thing. I just share my journey, and in the hope that it's going to help someone. So let's dive in on today's video. My first lesson is diversify as much as possible starting out. You don't have to do all areas of law. Of course, you can't. You're not like, it's impossible to do all areas of law at once, but at least, or identify at least three, but never just stick to one area of law. Because as you all know, this pandemic affected mostly people who are majorly doing litigation. These are the most hit people. So I think the biggest lesson is that diversify as much as possible. Don't focus on only one area of law. Choose at least three, or you can't, of course you can't do all of them, but at least don't, while starting out, don't do one specific area. I know it's normally said that it's good when you're known for one area of law, but I don't know why I just feel this thing only works best in the United States, or in the United States of America. This thing works perfectly, because I think even in America, most people just, there's an immigration lawyer who strictly does that. There's people have mostly done one thing, they haven't diversified. But I think in Kenya, it only works when maybe you have been in the business for some time. But when starting out, I don't think this will work out. Yeah, but of course, I this is only my personal opinion. I'm sure maybe for some people it works out, but for me, what I just learned, it's good to diversify. At least don't focus on one area of law when you're just starting out. With time, after now you have practiced for some time, I think now you can now decide to be known for something. But while starting out, it's hard to just, it's now, like this pandemic, if maybe trust me, the law firms that I've realized have survived are the ones that who diversify, who don't only focus on one, because they hit a lot of law firms. There are even big law firms. I know of people who work in big law firms who were given unpaid leave, which is okay because this was a pandemic that wasn't expected. But now you can imagine if such a big law firms which have been there for years and years are being affected, you can imagine a small law firm for someone who's just starting out. And that means that for me, that's the first lesson. The second lesson I've learned is to have an emergency fund. I'm sure anyone who is starting a business knows about this part, but I don't think we take it that seriously. You know, the way you have emergency fund for if maybe you lose your job, or if maybe something happens, medical issue comes up, or maybe, you know, the same emergency funds that you have for such situations should also be the same emergency funds you should have for your business. Like, have an emergency fund for situations when, like, such maybe a pandemic, or maybe for in the future, maybe something like, if maybe things don't go out well as planned. Because I know for people who practice law, I'm sure, especially people who are just starting out, you know, there's normally this, there are rainy days, and then there are days that there's no business. So I think having an emergency fund is another. It's very, yeah. I know it's. I'm sure you might have been doing it, but not that seriously. But now, because of this pandemic, I've just learned that it's supposed to be a serious thing. Like, know how much it will cost you maybe for 3 months in case you don't earn anything. Like a situation where maybe there's no money coming in, or something has just happened. At least make sure you have emergency fund for your business. That is something that this pandemic has also taught me. Because, you know, when things are okay, I think as human beings, when things are okay, we don't normally think of maybe things are going to go bad. But it's very important. For instance, if even especially for people who are just coming to start, it's good that when you're just starting a business, have funds for emergency situations. I can't stress that enough, because I'm sure this is something that most businesses, the reason most businesses closed up is because of that, not having an emergency fund. The third lesson I've learned is that you should be honest with yourself. Remember, the only person you can ever lie to is yourself. And I understand our profession is more of making face. Like, even the expectation from society for advocates is very high. Like, people give us very high expectation. Like, yeah, I know we deserve that. But in such a situation, it's not that I'm saying that we are given high expectation for nothing. Because, yeah, that 7 years of sacrifice, it wasn't for nothing. But what I'm just trying to say here is, in situations where you know things are not working well for you, maybe for your business, or maybe for the people who have lost their jobs, don't try to, like, put yourself in situations where you will even hurt your business, or hurt yourself more. It's more of accept reality of what's happening. If, for instance, you're like renting an office, and you know things are not working out well, you can look for options, like do adjustments. You might decide to maybe get a person and you share the office for the time being. Because trust me, it won't make any sense if you are renting an office where maybe you can't afford the rent, or you are borrowing. You have to, now this will make you go into deep debt. So I hope you get this. I hope this is some. I hope you're getting what I'm saying. Because my point here is, just be honest with yourself. Because the only person who can never lie to, as I've said, is yourself. So even though I know we have a lot of expectation from society, but there it comes a time that you just have to be honest with yourself. Like, just sit down, have, you know what's happening in your business, you know how much account you have, how much money is in your account, you know how, if it's something that will sustain you. So it's very important to be honest with yourself. My fourth lesson that I've learned is, it's good to be flexible, be open-minded. I know it's, you took, especially, I know, especially starting a law firm, maybe when you've just, like, been admitted, it's normally a bold step, and it's normally hard. Like, it's hard sometimes to accept what's reality, or even to, but when things are not going well, it's good to be flexible. Like, yeah, it's very difficult, because sometimes you may find, there I've given that example of rent, maybe things are, or maybe you might find that because of the pandemic, maybe your clients, like, you're not getting the money the way you were getting it before. So you know you have to make adjustments. Sometimes the decisions you have to make are so hard, like hard decisions that you feel, trust me, sometimes such decisions that you make, because as a result of maybe situations like the pandemic or hard times, is normally so hard. Like, maybe you'll find, maybe you'll need to close shop, and I don't think you should close shop by, and here maybe it's your law firm, you need to close your law firm. You may find maybe you need to close your law firm, to close down your law firm. But I think it's for a short time, because trust me, it's better to make such hard decisions as opposed to like trying to force situation, because apart from depression, other things, it's normally hard. So I think I would advise I would say from my own personal experience, do make those hard decisions you'll have to make, but have a plan. Like, don't just, it's not I'm not talking about giving up. This is just making a hard decision for your own. So for instance, let me give an example. Maybe if you had to close your office because of this pandemic, because now rent and everything, that doesn't mean that you should give up. Have, maybe, depending on what you have decided to do, maybe you've decided to, there are people you can still practice law without having a law firm. You can maybe give yourself a target of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to, then within 3 months I'll get back, or within 2 months, depending on the situation. But it's very important to be flexible. This goes in hand with being honest with yourself. Trust me, it's only you who knows, and I know how hard that can be. You can be there thinking that you're like given up on yourself. Me, by the, like, for me, I consider my law firm my baby. So I feel that if you're making that decision, it's like I've given up on my baby. But trust me, sometimes it's important you make hard decisions for the sake of safeguarding your law firm in the future. So I hope you get my point. And I think it's okay, and it's very okay to make such hard decisions, because that's part of being like being a business owner, an entrepreneur. You'll reach a point where you have to make hard decisions. There are people who have had to give up equity for their companies that are built from scratch, but they do it because now the situation here is either you lose the company completely, or you keep it, but you just weigh the risks. That's why, so being flexible is very important. Even me, like, I've had to make hard decisions. Trust me, those decisions sometimes you fail, especially the first time. You'll feel like it's like more of giving up, but it's not. That's what I'm saying. But at least, even though you're being flexible, make the adjustments with a plan. So it's not like it's more of giving up, it's just like having, like, trying to save your business for the long term, but with this short-term decision. And remember, it's only you can make that decision. I know you can find yourself in situations where you ask opinions from friends and family. Trust me, it's, of course they have good intentions and all that, but trust, it's only you who knows. It's only you who knows, like, what exactly is going on in your business. It's only you who knows the passion you have for, or the business you started, the law firm you started in this situation. So I think the decision should be yours. Yeah, it's good to get advice from people, but ensure that the decision you make is a personal decision. Because trust me, people normally, despite the fact they have good intention, but people will always give advice based on they project their fears. So, someone will give you advice according to the fears for them, they have personal fears. So maybe you're going to someone to ask that person. People always project their fears. So my point here is ensure that the decision you're making. Fifth point is surround yourself with the right people. I know this might be the most difficult time, but it's very important to have the right people around you during this time. Because trust me, if you having that support system is very important, because this is the time that maybe you're making very significant changes for your small business. Because remember, you didn't expect such a situation. So it's very good to have the right people to talk to, people who understand your vision, people who understand you well. So ensure that you surround yourself with the right people, because I know people are human. You'll find there are people who will be negative about this situation. Those are the people that you, so ensure that the people you're surrounding yourself with are the right people. Okay, my sixth point is, do not give up. I know it's easy. It's very easy to give up. It's very easy to feel that you're a failure, but please don't use this pandemic, this situation, to define, like, your capability of starting a business, to judge yourself, because the pandemic hit everyone worldwide. But remember, when a situation like this hits, yeah, it might be a bad situation, but take the lessons from it. And just, no matter what, don't give up. I know you may have made a major decision, like maybe go back to employment, or maybe close your law firm, or maybe even go back home. But just no matter what, ensure that you don't give up. And then in relation to that, my other lesson is always remember your why. Your why is what will keep you. Your why. Always remember the why, because remember, there's a reason you started that small business. It was not something that it came out of nowhere. It's not something that you just woke up one day and you started it. There's a reason why you started that. You have that. So let that why drive you to ensure that you don't give up and to ensure that you keep pushing on. And also another lesson that I've learned: if you can have side hustles, like, but I've been seeing most players, that's what they have been doing. Have side hustles, like you can be selling maybe shoes, handbags, whatever things. At least have a backup thing, because I remember during our admission, I remember something that the former AG told us. I remember the former AG told us, you can never like just make it or be by just being a lawyer. I remember that's the advice he gave. So that means it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to do exactly what the other person is doing. That when you see people selling handbags, you start selling handbags. This is that passion. Another thing that you might do, like investing your money, doing what. That's another thing that this pandemic has taught me. Remember when you get your money from your, you should find a way of investing it to make it more, investing it, and that will help you at least in ensuring that even though your business is not doing well, your law firm is not doing well, at least you have invested that money, so that even that side hustle might help you in maintaining this business, or might help you in like paying other bills like rent and all other situations, so that you can at least only focus on the business. I really hope this video has been those I really hope that these tips have been helpful. Thank you so much for watching.